Aurea, I'm curious. Why the sudden interest in finding out more about your father?
He was trapped in the Enclave my entire life. This is the first chance I actually have to find out who he was.
Right. But I guess what I mean is, you really never tried to find out more from your mother.
I always had this sense that it wasn't something she could discuss. There was a heaviness in the air when his name came up. She was in love with him. And then she lost him in this cataclysmic event that no one could have predicted.
That must have been unimaginably painful.
Yes. She wasn't a tragic figure, though. She carried it well. You'd never know she was in pain. And truthfully, I had such a good life with my mother and my grandmother. It wasn't like I felt he was missing.
Until now.
Until we arrived here, yes. Something about this place just makes it clear how much I've lost because of the surge.
Being here makes me wonder. If the surge hadn't happened, would I have been forced to leave home to become a weaver?
Most certainly not. You would have been a valued member of society, not an outcast. Did you have a good relationship with your mother?
I probably take more after my dad than my mum, that's for sure. But I love her all the same.
She gave you a good life then?
Oh, the best. It was hard to leave it behind.
My mother and I had our ups and downs throughout my life too. As daughters get older, we understand our mothers better.
Any chance our mothers understand us better with age too?
She'll come around to the weaving, if that's what you're worried about. She loves you after all.
She does. I know that much.
It might sound callous, but I'm a little disappointed in the Hearthsiders.
They're in worse shape than any of us expected.
They've done so little to repair the wonders that surround them. How can a society once renowned for its genius become so far removed from their own innovations? It makes me question if they were ever as great as we all believe they were, or if it was just...
Some myth to keep weavers going after the surge.
Exactly. Something for us to believe in, whether or not it was true.
There is probably a mix of truth and legend in our stories of the Enclave. Nothing's black and white. Isn't that always the case in history?
Yes, I suppose this could have been expected, but it's rare we have a chance to confront history in person like this. I'm just not sure what to think anymore.
So, what were you speaking to the Eye about?
Nothing. I don't want to talk about it.
I didn't mean to pry. I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
You want to know if I'm okay?
Yes?
Then how come no one is at all concerned with the fact we can't leave? This isn't my life. Traveling with a Weaver band was supposed to be temporary. For me, at least. There are things I should get back to in Tarza. And it's increasingly clear no one has any idea when I will. If ever. So no. I'm not okay.
I'm so sorry. I had no idea you were feeling this way. You're right.
I am?
The truth is, we don't know how or when we're getting out of here. But if you want to leave, we should have made that more of a priority. Or at least made you feel more heard. So we'll work on it. Promise.
Really? What's the catch?
No catch. Apprentice or full-time weaver, what's important to you is important to all of us.
I don't know what to say. but thanks.
Isla, I was wondering if you might be able to help my friend.
Oh, what seems to be the problem?
I was wondering if you've heard of an affliction known as Era's Plague.
A damaging misnomer, but yes.
It certainly seems like the Enclave had a better understanding of it than the rest of the Maida does. I believe our quartermaster is suffering from it. She's a Kashar like you.
Ah, yes. The condition isn't unique to Kashar, but it's believed we experience it in greater severity due to our unique sleep cycles. I've heard of Ram, Obrun, Ashar, and Kassil alike who've experienced it. The first line of treatment is sleep. Unfortunately, that's difficult for Kashar. Thankfully, a sleeping balm should go a long way to help her. But it's not enough on its own.
Is there a more accurate name for this affliction?
Unfortunately, no. The research done on disorders of the mind is limited, even here. And I suppose academics are hesitant to rename conditions until they've become better understood.
Changing the name would just confuse matters, especially after the surge.
Then again, using a name that implies an individual has been cursed by a goddess of justice doesn't exactly foster empathy for its sufferers.
If this won't cure Kasmin, what else will we need to do to help her?
It's what she needs to do for herself, sadly. There is no cure for Ira's plague, only treatment and management of the condition. Sleep will put her on the right track, but she needs to eat properly and actively fight the compulsions that stem from her visions.
She has a long road ahead of her.
She does. But she's not walking it alone. She's lucky to have friends like you.
Have you experienced Era's Plague yourself?
Not personally, no. But when I was born, my mother sought out the sleeping balm recipe in case I ever needed it, being Kashar. Great foresight on her part.
You've never spoken of your mother before?
She died before I was even a year old. And my father doesn't like to speak of her.
How do I get hold of a sleeping balm?
Well, I can make one for you here if you bring me the ingredients. You'll need emerald lucin, a gemstone famed for its ability to radiate peace, and chill feather weave for its cooling properties. In addition to this, you'll need oil membrane for the formula, and of course, red cotton, because it filters the light so that the eyes find deeper rest.
I'll bring you those right away. Oria's father is unlikely to be a Kassil woman. Besides, when it comes to nurturing parental figures, Ramanos's shrewd eye for politics isn't what comes to mind. when sleeping. I was never a big believer in healing gemstones myself, but there must be something to it if the Enclave weavers use them in their alchemic practices. Here's everything you asked for.
Just a moment, and I'll prepare the balm. Here you go. And I've written down the recipe for Lane, in case you run out.
Thank you so much.
Have your quartermaster rub a little of the balm on her forehead, temples, and wrists before she goes to sleep. She'll be out in no time.
I hope she's willing to try this.
All you can do is be there. The rest is up to her.
You're right. I'd better get back to camp.
I hope your friend feels better soon.
We all wanted to come together to support you, Casmin, however we can. Do you think you're ready to talk about what's going on?
I guess I have been feeling not so great lately. It's hard. I don't know how to tell you what's going on in my mind. Or if I even should.
We're not here to judge. We're here to listen.
You can tell us anything.
It started a while after we came through the Veil. Not right away. You all know me. I'm a rock in a crisis. But the aftermath... It's hard for me to come down. Actually, I crashed to pieces in it. I should be stronger, but...
You are strong, Kaz. Falling apart sometimes doesn't change that.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like it these days. After the Surgeborn escaped, I just started getting these... thoughts. Visions. So vivid. They feel like premonitions. Our campsite, being razed to the ground in the night. Scrambling to find our gear under attack. Each of us being killed one by one. And this voice howling in my ear that it will all be my fault. Unless I do everything in my power to prepare us for it. I know that sounds crazy. But these visions and that voice, it's been getting louder. It keeps me awake all hours of the night. By dawn, everyone else is asleep, even Dam.
That must be lonely.
It is. Opening up to you about this is physically painful. Even while we're talking, that voice keeps going. In the spaces between my words, in every pause, it howls at me for being pathetic and incompetent. How come I'm the only one drowning inside this place? No matter what happens, all of you are able to keep doing your jobs. I mean, I'm the only freak going off the deep end. How stupid is that?
You're going through something awful, outside of your control. And until now, you've dealt with it alone. But your decision to be vulnerable and share your experiences with us, that's brave, not stupid.
I don't feel brave. I feel exhausted and sad. But I guess it's nice to hear.
What if we cleaned out the caravan for you while you go rest? Brynn will sit with you until you fall asleep.
I don't know. I don't think I can sleep right now.
I have something that will help. A sleeping balm from the spindle.
Would you be open to trying it?
Maybe, but I'm afraid of what will happen if I go to sleep.
I won't let anything happen. I promise. Do you trust me?
I do. But I've made such a mess of the caravan. I can't let you guys be the ones to clean it up.
We've got this, Casmin. It's okay.
All right. Thank you. This isn't working. I should go help with the caravan.
Shh. Kaz, they're fine. You need to sleep.
But what if Aurea throws away the grains Dan likes for breakfast? Or the sapling uses to rebind her books? Or...
She won't.
I can't just lie here. My skin is crawling. I feel like I might burst if I don't move.
How about we breathe together? Just try it with me.
Fine.
Hey, how you feeling?
I'm okay. I don't feel amazing. In fact, I feel pretty fragile, to be honest. But sleeping helped. Actually, everything you did helped. I don't want to pretend I'm feeling on top of the world right now, or like all my problems are solved. They're not. I know I've got a long road ahead of me, but finally saying out loud all the madness in my mind, and not being shunned or rejected for it. It's like all these awful visions lost some of their power over me.
Sounds like you should keep sharing with us then. So we can have every opportunity to accept you as you are.
Yeah. Why did you do all that for me?
Wouldn't you do the same for anyone here in a heartbeat?
I would.
Then why wouldn't we do that for you?
I don't feel as deserving as everyone else here.
You are, Casmin.
Would you mind reminding me of that sometimes?
Every day, if you'd like.
And then, Sev and I realized we might be able to repurpose the carapace for more than just loom gates.
Uh-huh.
Purely theoretical right now, but I'm contemplating tangle-resistant gear, or even a protective layer around the caravan.
Dom, I'm a little busy trying to look over these Tarmakine schematics again. Do you mind coming back later?
Oh, okay. You're right. We can discuss theoretical magic anytime. I'll leave you to your work.
Oh. Hey, Brynn.
Everything all right? Things between you and Dom seem off lately.
Yeah, a bit. I'm not sure he understands what my work on the Tarmakine smithing techniques means to me.
Have you told him how you're feeling?
It feels like he's so wrapped up in his own discoveries that he's not hearing me.
He is easily distracted, but maybe you should try again. If there's one thing I know about Dom, it's that he loves you. He must care about your feelings.
Then why isn't he asking about them? Sorry, this isn't on you. I'm just frustrated. I need to do more than just tell him what Tarmakine means to me.
How so?
I need to show him. By investigating Tarmakine practices, maybe I can make some headway on restoring these techniques. Then he'll understand.
Hey, I'm always down to investigate lost knowledge, especially in the name of love.
You'll help me?
Of course.
Amazing. I'll ask the Axel if she knows anything about Tarmakine smithing in the Enclave.
Great idea. I'll meet you at Cassidon's Hold. Something on your mind, Kaz? You look lost in thought.
Oh, yeah. I guess it's just strange to think that Arakim, the Axle, and the Spindle were all born inside the Veil. For years after the Surge, it probably felt like the world was ending in here, and yet people were still bringing children into it.
Don't you think the same could be said of outside the Enclave after the Surge?
Maybe. But there's something about being trapped inside this crisis bubble and still choosing to bring someone else into it with you. Doesn't it seem almost selfish? You know what? No, I wasn't there. I shouldn't judge the Hearthsiders.
Maybe it's comforting. Yeah. No matter what, birth comes with the spring. I think if someone really wants to have kids, they just make it work, regardless of the circumstances.
I suppose. I just wonder if that's really what's best for a child.
I guess I've always been of the mindset that there's no perfect time to have kids. At some point, you just need to dive into it, if it's what you want.
Maybe. I'm not really one for diving.
Brynn, you brought your talented smith. To what do I owe the pleasure?
I was wondering if you might have any information on Tarmakine smithing practices within the Enclave.
I'm not well versed in Tarmakine myself. But I recall one smith who hoped to make the techniques more widespread prior to the search. You could try searching the guild district in Heidenevron for a registry.
Sola is actually hoping to restore the lost art herself. Anything else I could look for that might help her?
The smithing guild also had an extensive library. You might find a tome on Tarmakind that could be useful while you're there.
Thank you so much.
I admire your ambition. What you're hoping to achieve is no small feat.
If anyone can do it, it's Sola.
I don't know about that.
I can believe it. Good luck in your endeavors.
Aurea thinks her father could have a statue in the Enclave just like her mother. So, I'm looking for a male Oberon that fits our timeline. As impressive as Aurea's lineage may be, we're 200 years off the timeline for Arden to be her father. Not to mention the lack of feathers.
This must be the guild district.
Home to numerous trades, magical and mundane alike. Enchanters, smiths, coopers, glassworkers, you name it.
This appears to be a registry of smiths. It's dated prior to the retreat to Cassidy's Hold. There's one Tarmakind smith, Xavier Nebrail. Looks like he had a workshop in the Iron Room. Bloom gate ahead. I'll collect its key swatch. Guild members must have made good use of this one. The Guild District. I should look for tomes on the Tarmakind smithing style, and a registry of guild members here. Aha. Tarmakind Smithing. A compendium on vented metalwork. Sola will love this. Xavier's workshop should be up ahead. Solid and sturdy. Not made for traveling like Solar's. Xavier's diary. From a quick skim, it doesn't look like he was a particularly happy man.
My mentor used to regale me with stories about the Ironwalk after a long day at the smithy.
Artisans, metal workers, and crafters also had stands here, though the smiths were by far the draw for travelers.
Another set of schematics. This is sure to put a smile on someone's face.
The discoveries we can glean from your findings are incredible, Brynn. This schematic is much more complicated than the previous one, though. And I'm starting to realize why Tarmakind is a lost art.
What do you mean?
Xavier used a traditional forge because he needed to reach much higher temperatures to work the signature Tarmakind vents. Unfortunately, my forge is built for transport. It's unable to sustain those higher temperatures.
Could we improve it?
Dom had that idea of a set of enchanted hammers. They, combined with the forge, might be enough heat.
He'll be glad to hear it.
Could you maybe get him to enchant them on my behalf?
Why? I'm sure he'd be thrilled to help you.
I know. We're just not on the same page right now. I'd rather be further in my investigation before I speak to him. Besides, he mentioned he'd need some cinder linen for the enchantment, and I was thinking you could scavenge some for us.
All right. This is a little strange, but I guess I can talk to him for you.
Thanks.
Hey, Dom. Sola was wondering if you could enchant a set of hammers after all. She's finally ready to use them.
Of course, but why isn't she asking me to do it herself?
She's been a bit busy with the Tarmakind stuff she's working on.
Right. I'm happy to enchant the hammers. I'll need cinder linen to do it, though. Do you have any on you?
As a matter of fact, I do. Here.
Perfect. I've still got some of the byproduct from your drake harvest as well. I'll enchant them right away. Do you think I should be the one to bring them to Sola? Or would she prefer that you do it?
Why don't you bring them? This Tarmakind project is really important to her, and I think it would mean a lot if you helped out.
You're right. She's the love of my life, after all. I'm happy to help. But maybe you could join me? After all, you're the one she's been entrusting the details of her work to. Maybe she'd rather you be there.
I could come, if you really think that's best, but it kind of seems like the two of you should...
Great, it's settled. We'll both go.
Yeah. Okay.
This isn't working. The forge isn't hot enough.
I've stoked the forge before.
No, this work is somewhat more precise. It's not all bad news. I can forge a set of Tarmakind arms now. I'll give you the design. But the remaining pieces are too large to make without reaching the temperatures that Xavier was able to at his forge.
Sola, it's all right. We can figure this out. Maybe we need something stronger than cinder linen to augment the hammers.
No, enchanting isn't the solution. Sev and I need to head into Denevron to get Xavier's forge. It's built for this.
And it's exceptionally heavy. You and Sev are strong, but do you really think you'll be able to get it back here?
We have to try.
My love, I know this is important to you, but do you think Xavier's forge is a long-term solution? The caravan won't be able to carry it. You'll need to leave it behind when we start traveling again.
I don't want to keep traveling. I want to settle down. I want to stay in one place. I want a home.
But we're weavers. Our home is the open road. Traveling is what we do.
It doesn't have to be.
Staying in one place, it's not the life we decided on for ourselves.
It's not the life I thought I could have. But here, in the Enclave, it's possible. We could be weavers and stay. You could enchant, I could teach smithing. I could unravel the Tarmakind techniques and pass them on to a new generation.
You've clearly spent a great deal of time thinking this through. Without me. It's not what I planned for myself, though. Or even a life I want, for that matter.
But we're married. If we don't want the same life, where does that leave us?
I don't know.
Maybe I should give you two some privacy to talk this out.
It's fine, Brynn. Clearly, Sola would rather speak to you about her hopes and dreams than me. Maybe it's best if we take some time apart. I'll go.
Fine.
Sola, are you...
I don't even know what just happened. I can't believe he just left.
He was caught off guard. It will be okay, I promise.
I don't know anymore.
How you doing, Sola? That discussion with Dom was a little rough.
I'm frustrated and hurt. I feel like I don't ask for much, and when I finally do, he acts mystified.
He absolutely could have handled that better. But I think he was genuinely caught off guard.
How is that possible? I feel like I've been trying to tell him for ages. Or hint at it, at least.
Maybe that was the first time he really understood, though.
Maybe. I just need some time. And space.
I don't know if space is the best.
I can't have that conversation again right now. Especially if you won't consider... Never mind.